everyone, it's Kate. This is the first episode of my podcast. I'm still working on the name, so bear with me for a second because none of the names seem good enough yet. But first episode, I don't have a clue what I'm doing, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. I'm basically just going to be chatting shit with you. I got 2 of my mates with me today. That's going to be a treat. And yeah, cool. Alright. Right, so the friends I've got with me today are 2 of my best friends. Yep, cool. And we have Laura.
Hello, my name is Laura, I am a Libra, and the most interesting thing about me is that I have toenail fungus.
And we have Ash.
Hi, I'm Ash, I'm a Cancer and I'm a witch.
Okay guys, just a quick disclaimer by the way. I smoke a lot, so I will be smoking during these podcasts. So if you ever hear just like, you know, that's my lighter, or if I'm taking a real big drag, you know. Yep. Example given by Laura. And today we're going to talk about bad movies and why they're so bad. Do we know any bad movies?
Honestly, off the top of my head, I can't quite think of anything because sometimes when you put on the spot, it's just like, But I think my favourite horror movie that is really bad is The Evil Dead, the first ever making of it. Because I watch it and it is really appalling, but I love it so much because it's so bad.
I tell you what, I watched this film, and we're speaking along the lines of horror, because I was going to say, is Evil Dead that one where that woman raises from the grave? But then I was thinking about that movie, that horror movie where they're like in a cabin in the woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, I love that film.
And then I think like a girl goes outside because something spooky's happening, and then don't she get fingered by like a tree? Or am I thinking of a different film?
Honestly, I feel like you're watching that's a spoof off something. But in like, she does die in the woods. I think she's shagging someone, and then some zombies come and like decapitate her.
What the fuck? It breaks the 4th wall, and that's why I like it.
I just love the fact that like they have bets on like how these people are gonna die.
Yeah.
And then it's the fucking unicorn that just comes out and stabs people with its horn. That just gets me every time.
But I love Cabin in the Woods because it looks like it's all a big game at first, doesn't it? Because they've got all the cameras watching them and they're doing it themselves. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you get to the end and there's like big fuck off titans that rule the world, and they've got to have like certain blood sacrifices, and that's why they did it. And I was like, what the fuck? That was mad.
Quite interesting though, to be fair. Could be just an inside scoop the government are actually like.
Could be. Do you know
Probably.
Do you know any bad films, Laura?
I don't know. What about what's it called? Is it Disaster Movie?
Disaster Movie. I'm pretty sure it's a spoof taking the piss out of certain ones.
But it's so shit. It's so good.
I asked my friends in the film chat if they know. I have a Facebook chat full of friends that I go to university with, and we all study film production, so we all have a big group chat. And I asked them if they knew any bad movies for my podcast, and I asked if they knew any that featured ghosts, and I got some pretty weird suggestions. Do you guys want to hear?
Yep.
Yeah.
One of my friends said Casper is mediocre. I think Casper is a sick film, personally.
It's a classic from childhood.
Another friend said the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
The Scooby-Doo movies are good. I don't care what
I have a very
anybody
strong
says.
differing opinion on this.
Oh, what is it? Tell me.
I love the Scooby-Doo movies, live action, classics.
Yep.
Velma, Daphne, sexy.
Yes.
My sexual awakening.
The stoner fucking... This just... Shaggy and Scooby just emit stoner radiation more in the live action films than they do in the like animated series. I was just there for it. It was the fact that like they smell out their fans in like the first movie for the art gallery opening.
Yeah.
They like went and then found them. That was iconic.
I think my favourite Scooby-Doo live-action film is what was it, Spooky Island?
Spooky
Yeah.
Island.
Classic.
That's such a good film. That's such a good
Yeah, that's the
film.
one with the ghosts in it, because like they take all the souls, don't
Yeah,
they?
and it's Scrappy Doo is the mastermind.
Scrappy Doo
Scrappy-Doo.
is a little bastard.
Hate him.
He used to get on my fucking tits, he really did. He used to just annoy the fuck out of me. Because it's just like, mate, Scooby could kick you to the next country. Shut up.
Scooby Doo could yeet Scrappy Doo to the moon.
He
Honestly.
He fucking could, and I'm surprised that he didn't, to be honest, because I fucking would have. Oh god. But on the topic of like Spooky Island and there's ghosts involved, what are your opinions on ghosts?
My opinion on ghosts. I believe in the supernatural, like in terms of werewolves and vampires and all that kind of stuff. Because, like, a myth it stems from something. Like, it has to come from somewhere. Like, either someone's just made it up, or it was actually a real thing in the past. And then there's nothing. If that's the case, there's nothing to say that it's not real now. But I don't know. Ghosts kind of just push it for me.
I suppose, I do see your point. I feel like once you've experienced what like ghosts are and what they can do, everyone is going to remain a little bit skeptical, but like ghosts are a very, very real thing, and I feel like they aren't seen more now because we don't live in such a strange world anymore, if that makes sense. Like previously all they had for entertainment was like books, opera and stuff like that, and even then most people couldn't read, so like they would see things that they would be able to see the ghosts a bit more because they wouldn't have such an occupied mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I believe in ghosts. I think my house is haunted.
I fucking know for a fact my grandma haunts me sometimes. I had my tarot cards read by a medium last year, and immediately, like, I didn't tell him any reason of why I wanted him to come, but immediately he was just like, why have I got like 5 years ringing in my head and like a really motherly instinct? And I was just kind of like, yeah, my grandma died 5 years ago, and he said, do you have a ring of hairs? Because you keep saying the ring if you still got the ring. Because I don't wear it anymore because my fingers are too thin for it, but it's in a box upstairs. And I believe she gave that to me. It was left like on my science books because I was revising while I was caring for my granddad, and I had her old room with all of her stuff in it. And I went to go make our tea, and it took me about half an hour, and then afterwards I went back to revise, and there was just a ring on top of my books, and I asked my granddad if he'd put it there, and he said no, but obviously your gran wants to have it for some of your books. And I wore it for years, and Hermione as well. My little sister Hermione can fucking see ghosts, and when my grandma's pissed off at me, she walks up and down my stairs and stamps.
Yeah.
That's what she
Really?
does, she stamps. Like, when I had a friend living with me that, like, she just didn't particularly like or enjoy, she literally used to walk up and down the stairs all the time, and, like, we would hear things rattling and stuff throughout the night. It was mental. And then obviously when she left, it stopped.
That's mad.
Crazy.
Everyone thinks that the house is haunted though. I used to think my dad's house was haunted, but it was just the wind blowing the doors and stuff like that.
Yeah, but when she lived with me, it was winter, so everything was closed,
Yeah.
locked. Like, at first I tried to, like, put it down to, like, maybe it's my boiler. Like, I've got my radiators on. Could just be my radiators, like, banging and clanging in the night. But, like, one night, I didn't have any gas, so I was just, like, obviously in my bed in the cold. I didn't even have a TV in my room at this point, so I just had me and my phone. And it was so clear, like, we heard the footsteps come from downstairs, up the stairs, and they stopped right outside my door, and my door was open, so I could hear him, like, clear as day.
Yeah.
I looked, and there was no one there, and I checked on Evangeline, and Evangeline was fast asleep in her bed.
Oh. That is spooky. Do you think that, like, vampires and werewolves could still be alive today?
I think werewolves are a very good possibility, and to be fair, I think vampires are, just not as silly as it does sound. I do think that if they managed to survive, like if they managed to find some form of magic to make sure that like they would like get on and survive and blend
Yeah.
in well,
Yeah.
there is a good possibility. Like there is always a possibility some things exist, but they're just better hidden from us now. Or there's a possibility they were all killed out in the 1800s, but we won't ever know for sure until like something happens. But you can see enough creepy videos and shit on YouTube of just
Yeah.
random fucking beasts running through forests and that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's like a mixture of like it been drilled into me with pop culture and stuff, because obviously all that like supernatural stuff is so popular and
It
there's
is.
so many TV shows and movies about it. So I don't know if that's been drilled into me, but a part of me likes to think that there's somewhere out there we just don't know about them, and I don't think even if there was actually real, I would want to know about them.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like that is the same instance for everybody though. Like almost everyone I have this conversation with are kind of like, if they are real, then cool, but I'm not sure if I'd like to know that they are.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's like the fear of like, if you know who it is, they know who you are, and it's a sense of danger. Whereas when you just like contemplating and like pondering on whether they're real or not, it's just a bit of excitement. But I think if they were to survive, they would like live in like colonies. I think they would have found a lot of people and stayed
Yeah.
in these like certain places where they knew that like everyone was the same, and that
Yeah.
they'd have a better chance at survival if they're like grouped instead of.
Yeah.
I think part of the excitement of believing in supernatural things is knowing that there's somewhere you can go after you die.
Yeah.
Because dying is the most scary thing a lot of people can think of, really.
Yeah.
Death is the final frontier.
It is unfortunate that nobody can escape death, and it is just the ending everyone I suppose is waiting for. But there is definitely more proof than there isn't of that there is life after death.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so many things I've experienced, as well as members of my family and what I know of other people's accounts as well. There is so much more in the spiritual realm than what like most people concept, and unless you like really take it in and like look and search for things and make sure like you're dedicated into doing it, you would be able to figure enough out to come up with your own answer. Like nobody, once you've got a definitive answer on how you feel like things exist or not, I don't think anyone can take that from you.
Yeah.
It's your right, really.
Sometimes you just know when there's a ghost around.
Yeah.
You just feel it.
Yeah, you do. You just feel it because like the energy level feels different immediately, and it's just kind of like you don't get the feeling you're on your own anymore. It's like I'm being watched.
Yeah.
That feeling does get uneasy though.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel it.
Exactly, and it is one of those where it's like I don't think most people can see ghosts because you can grow out of it, and sometimes you just don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't want to see something, then you're not gonna see it. Simple as.
Like it's like in Beetlejuice. Like people ignore the strange and unusual.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't think anybody should be afraid of it though. At the end of the day, like, unless you feel threatened, then there is no, like, reason to worry.
Yeah.
Like, ghosts can't hurt you.
They're just hanging out, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're just hanging out. It's poltergeists, which are different because it's pure anger. And pure anger is extremely dangerous, especially if if you're a violent person, you'll become a violent spirit.
Ah, right.
Especially if you die in a violent way.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what happens. But sometimes I do believe that when it comes to it, you have like 3 options, and it's like 3 doors. You don't know what door's what, but one is purgatory, where you stay but you're in the spiritual realm, so you're here but you're not here. You've got heaven and you've got hell. Whichever door you go through is the door you're meant to go through. Like, I feel like when you get there, you'd be able to feel the door that you're supposed to go through.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do just stay, and sometimes they don't even mean to. An unfinished business, good or bad, is something that would keep someone tied here.
Yeah.
I feel like your life after death reflects the life that you had.
I agree with that.
I feel like
agree.
if you was a bad person, you'd end up in a bad place after
Yeah.
you died, and I think if you was a good person, you'd end up in a good place. But I personally believe that when we die, we come back as something else,
Yeah.
I think life is constantly being reused
Oh yeah.
and given back into the earth.
Reincarnation is definitely a possibility, and I do think it exists. Like, there is definitely fragments of my grandmother's soul in my daughter, without doubt. And it is sometimes a granddad will pass away, and then like a baby 2 generations later will look exactly like him. And it's just amazing stuff like that. Like, I do believe at some point, especially if you're in a good place, you can make the decision of when you want to join your family again.
Yeah.
I do think everybody that you're naturally drawn to and that you can't shake, like, in life, are just a soul that you was friends with in a past life wanting to still rekindle. I think like it's possible for soulmates and just soul friends. Everybody who you've had a connection with will eventually come back again.
What do you think you'd be reincarnated as? I think I'd be reincarnated as my spirit animal, the wolf.
I want to be reincarnated as a bird so I can fly.
I'd love to be a bat, I would.
Ooh, I do love a good bat.
I fucking love bats.
I do like bats.
Cool as fuck.
They
Have you seen
are.
them 6-foot ones?
Oh,
yeah.
My stepdad tagged me in like a purse with one of those, and he was like, Ash, do you want one of these for your birthday? And I was like, fucking yes. If I haven't convinced people I'm a witch now, I fucking will as that as my pet.
Could you imagine a bat the size of a human? That'd be mad. I'd
That's
ride on its
Mothman.
back.
It'd be taller than me.
I'd ride on its back and I'd catch moths with it.
Give them
Catch
to your dad,
moths.
like, hey, good dad.
I would give the moths to my dad. Yes, my dad is a mothman.
Mothman.
In the
Mothman.
nicest of terms. No, my dad just really likes moths. He just really likes them. I don't really know what to tell you. He has a book in his house that has every single kind of moth in it, and when he finds one flying about, or if one's accidentally flew in the house, he'll get his book out and he'll be like, oh, it's, and then he'll say some Latin name, and then he'll ask for my opinion, and it's like, you know, I do like moths and I think they're pretty, but I just don't know which one's a witch, and I just don't know the Latin names. But my dad's a cool guy, he just
Your
knows
dad.
it all.
Your dad is so cute. He's so talented. Like, I loved seeing his like photography when like you and him would go out and stuff.
Yeah.
And take loads of photos. But he is just like, he's got his like little moths in like photo frames and stuff, and he's just like,
Yeah, and
he's just a sweet little man.
he's got
Sweet
taxidermy
old
in his
man.
house. He's got taxidermy ducks and like otters and shit, like small rodents, and he has like these plushies of Rick and Morty, and he just sits them on top of these taxidermy animals, like they're riding them. And he's got like different kinds of skulls on his like mantelpiece, and he just likes nature, just one with the earth.
He is so fucking cute. I love your dad.
Yeah.
He's not changed in the many years that I've known him. Like, he's just
He's
that's
just the
all
same
it is.
old
It's
grumpy
just-
guy.
Yeah, he is. Bless him. He's just so funny without even meaning to be.
How did we get on the subject of my dad?
Because we
What?
were on about moths, and you said you was gonna catch them, and I said you'd give them to your dad, and you agreed.
Oh yeah. What was our original topic? Our original topic was
Supernatural
bad movies.
and bad movies.
That was our original
Bad movies.
topic. I wonder how many topics we've had since I pressed record.
Well, you'll find out when you edit it.
I know. I can't believe it.
Be.
We're already like 20 minutes in. We're gonna take a break now, so Loz can
Beef rolling time.
that. Be back in a sec. Oh.
See,
Hello again. Sorry about that. We took a big break because I had some tea to spill. But we're back now, and I think we came back and we wanted to talk about aliens, since we've already spoken about the supernatural and ghosts and whatnot. And aliens, hell yeah, I believe in them. Do you, ladies?
I do.
definitely. There's so much. The government literally like confirmed aliens this year.
Did they?
Yeah,
Last month, or
yeah.
a month before, I can't
They
remember.
literally like released footage of like an unknown flying object, and it was quite shit. They could have released something better, but like you could see something fucking around and flying really regularly and stuff.
That's mad.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
Aliens definitely do exist though. I think it would be ignorant of us to assume that there wasn't other life in the universe.
Yeah.
Because of course there is. If the circumstances were just right to make our life in the universe, and considering how much life we have on our planet as well, there's nothing to suggest that there isn't life on other planets. And maybe they just kind of flew past us one day, was like, nah, fuck Earth, and then went somewhere else.
Do you know what? I'd fucking do the same if I could. I'd just go, nah, fuck off, bye.
Yeah, man. I think I've seen two UFOs. One was with my mum and one was with my ex-boyfriend, and both of them were the exact same. It was like a big ass star flying across the sky at speed, mate. But it wasn't a shooting star. That's the one. It wasn't a shooting star because it wasn't. I just know it wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Like those random lights you just see in the sky, and they're not really moving, but they don't look like a star because they're a different colour.
Yeah, like it zoomed past.
Yeah.
And then vanished.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think I've seen a UFO before.
I've definitely seen 3. One of them was when I was living at home with my mum, and I had the front bedroom, and I heard all the boys down the street like running into like the square in front of my house, screaming UFO like at the top of their lungs. So I like looked out of my window, and this just big orange thing flew above my house. I ran into my sister's room, which was at the back end of the house, and I saw it like just go over the other houses, and it was just gone.
That's mad.
Another time was when I was camping with all of my pals on another little park, like the nature reserve, and we literally like, it was like a triangle of like lights, and it just literally like went over us. Like it was so slow as well. It was real weird, and it was like a real dark burgundy colour, and just like over the house. And another, it was like a star, but it went like left, down, right, up, left even further, and then down, and then just vanished.
But maybe, right, there could be the possibility that maybe we have starships that we don't know about.
I mean, that is a possibility.
Because Trump recently made something called Space Force, which is like the Air Force but for space.
To fight the aliens.
Yeah, this is a real thing that Trump's like, commissioned, like, has started. So I think maybe we've got ships up there that we don't know about. The government is definitely doing more than they're telling us.
Oh god, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Not just ours.
But the thing is, I think I have been abducted. Like, one night I was laid in bed and I heard this fucking otherworldly noise from underneath my bed. It was like a real weird clicking noise, and it was like a vibrating as well. It was real strange, and it was like almost in the same pattern as my breathing, and obviously I was panicking, so I was like going quite fast, and then when I calmed myself down, because I rolled a doob and I kind of like rationalised it in my head, and then once my breathing had slowed down, I focused my listening and I could hear it again. And then I was just kind of like, I was knocked out after my biff, and I went to sleep, and shortly after I shut my eyes, the door kind of like was floating shut, and it was slammed, and this fucking shadow, I can't even say what it was, but it looked like a shadow. It grabbed me and it took me out of my window, and instead of going into my garden, we just was on this really bright light. I was laid on a table and they cut my thigh open and they took something out of it, and then they put some, I don't know, they was doing something just to my thigh, and then they stitched it all up.
My battery's running low.
And I woke up.
Have you guys disconnected the...
And I woke up. Ooh, there you go.
Thanks.
Sorry
about that, guys.
I woke up with a big bruise on my thigh, and I was going to show you the photo, but unfortunately it's on my iPhone and I don't use that anymore. But I will charge that one and show you. But it was like, the bruise was loads of like circles, like in a straight line exactly where like I saw them cut me. And the next morning I felt drained, like I hadn't had any sleep at all. Like, and I was real woozy all day, like I did not feel well. I had to get my mum to come and pick up Evan for a little bit so I could just sleep it off.
This recently?
This was literally like March of last year.
Whoa.
That's crazy. Can I just say though, you know when you were saying that you first heard the noise and then you rolled a biff and went to sleep? Can I just say, if that was danger, were your first thought to roll a biff?
I didn't want to look under my bed to see what it was.
That's what I took from that story.
I was just kind of like, if I go to sleep, it'll go away.
Yeah, one of my biggest fears when I was little was being abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
Like, seeing bright lights outside my house. And I live on a main road, so that's normal, but sometimes them lights were just, you know, brighter and more different than usual. And I could swear I could see things, you know, like walking outside of my room is scary.
I used to live in a cottage and I miss that house. Like, I hated it, but I miss it. But like, I had light sensors that would go off every time they detected something in the garden, and they would go off all the time. It got to the point where I had to like turn them off completely. Yeah. Because it was just freaking me out, and sometimes I'd see like shadows on the door. And luckily enough for me, I was like real good pals with this guy called John who lived across the road, and he happened to have a gun. So like, he used to go shooting like pheasants and stuff for my landlord and rabbits and that. He used to come to my house with like dead pheasants over his shoulder, like at the feet tied with a rope, and he's like, "Do you want a pheasant or do you want some rabbits?" And I'm like, "No, I'm alright, thank you though." And he's just like, "Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Text me if you need anything." I was just like, "I will do." It was real lovely. So I used to just text him and be like, "Are you awake?" And he'd just be like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I was like, "There's someone outside of my house. Can you come and see for me, please?"
Well, you just call this man with a gun, like, "Can you come check out?"
Yeah, he literally lived across the road. Like, he lived at the bottom of my drive, so it was not far.
It sounds like we live in the States, like.
The local man with gun.
But this was just
local man with gun does this.
Country village life, innit, really?
Yeah.
Country village life. Like, he had a license and everything, but like, every time like I got a bit scared, he'd come and then after he'd looked around my property, he would just kind of knock on the door and he'd be like, "Everything's fine." We'd have a cup of tea and we'd talk, and then he'd just go home. He was real nice. He was a proper just lovely old man. It was just like, one of my daughters is your age and I wouldn't like her to be out here on her own. Aww. No, he was so lovely.
Alright guys, we're gonna have to wrap it up soon.
Okay.
Is there anything you would like to talk about before we go? Or anything you would like to say to any random person listening to this? If I'm going to be honest, I think it's mainly going to be my mates from uni and like a few people we know.
Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Unless you like drugs.
Do
drugs.
as many as
you want.
Do drugs.
We're doing drugs right now, so don't listen to us.
You are loved.
You are important.
Probably by me.
Yeah?
Probably.
Yeah.
Never forget it.
For anyone out there, Laura loves you.
Shaggers. I'm joking.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. This was the first episode. I know it's been a bit of a mess, and I know I'll probably have to tweak some of the audio, but we give it our best shot. Yeah?
Yeah. And we've had a kitten distracting us.
Yeah, we've had a kitten sitting with us. Ash just got a kitten today.
She's called Jumina and she's so cute.
She is the cutest.
If you know where I got the name Jumina from, you get bonus points and a gold star.
Yeah. Get back to us if you knew where she got Jumina from.
Jumina, yeah.
Jumina. Right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Shout out to my film group, I guess, for helping me with the bad movies. And I'm gonna leave it there. So thanks for listening, everyone. See you later, I guess.
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to drop my phone.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.